Glory to Ukraine, glory to brave Ukrainian army. Ukraine's fighting, Ukraine stands. We are brave, we are fighting for the democracy in the whole world, for our sovereignty, and we will definitely win. Today I will show you a lot of beauty, and this will be new varieties as of usual in my channel, because I have visited the garden of my lovely neighbor, and I think many of us we like to inspire from visiting or viewing different gardens on YouTube or in reality, or some botanical gardens, and based on such visit, on such watching and observation, we want and we plant new and new varieties in our gardens. And the same for me. I love to see roses, not only roses, but in general flowers, and especially roses, and what varieties are growing, and where, and how do they show, and how they behave, etc. And that's why I have visited this garden, and yeah, made a film or made a video based on my visit, and will tell you about these varieties, because I know much about them, almost all of them. Malicorne, let's start from this one. This is Floribunda, and it has very good characteristics, and as you can see, it is very generously blooming a variety, very generously blooming bush, and it is long-lasting clusters. Our rich color is very deep, rich also, and in addition, this color it changes a little bit based on the weather outside, and of course on the time of the day. In the morning it will be one color. In the during the sunshine and these hot hours, during the main hot hours of the day, it will be very intense and bright red. But during the or closer to the sunset, or closer or pre-Sunday, for example, stormy weather, it will become so deeply, so intensely red, even not only red, but cherry red, beetroot red, raspberry red, and very, very nice one, even with some maybe black shades. As you can see, flowers, they are not very full, but still they are not simple ones. They are semi-full, I would say, semi-double, and they are still, their life is very long on the bush, and as far as clusters are very rich, that means that flush of this very variety, it is pretty also long lasting, and you will definitely have enough time to inspire by it, to have a lot of emotions by viewing this bush, and watching this bush, etc. It does not have fragrance, or may be very light one, but its main beauty is in its flower or her flowers, and her rich clusters, and her very bloomy form, yeah, blooming. Sorry for such tautology. Yeah, of course, it could be cut if you prefer to do this, and I think in vase it will also show its best or her best. And maybe not so long lasting as this variety could be on the bush, but in vase I think it will be still pretty long lasting. Let's move next, and this is Pashmina variety. It also shows very nice, or performs very nice in my garden, and in other gardens as well, and even during or in my climate conditions, which could be pretty moisty. Um, she still performs very nice. Pierre de Ronsard or Eden Rose 85, one of the prominent, one of the popular varieties here in Ukraine and in our gardens. You could almost, yeah, you could see it, her almost in all gardens through our Ukrainian rose lovers. And of course, this variety, she is so wonderful, so amazing, and so glorious, and very attractive. And of course, that's why she is so popular to be planted, even not in private garden, but in different public parks, in different maybe zones of some mutual recreatory, etc., etc. And yeah, it performs very wonderful in our conditions as well. This one, we assume that this is Queen Elizabeth rose. Not sure, of course, but we guess that this is her. And yeah, if this is her, it's, I would say, classic hybrid tea, very popular, I think, abroad. Here, in almost all public parks, we will face and we will see this variety. Lovers meeting. This is unusual variety, not so oftenly faced in our garden and planted in our garden, but it's very prominent. As you can see, it's very eye-catching, very deeply, intensely orange or maybe even carrot orange color, very bright, very I would say eye-catching. You could spot it from far, from very long distance. You definitely will see that this is something interesting, and you will be interested most probably. Of course, it depends, and not all of us love such colors, such bright ones. Some prefer other colors, other palette, but of course, many people they prefer such colors in their rose gardens as well. As I have said, this is a classic hybrid tea rose with hybrid tea flower and type of blooming, and each flower it starts from the high-centered flower, and then it will be opened pretty slowly. Not the slowest comparing to some other varieties, but pretty slowly. And color will be changing a little bit. It will become more bright, very, I would say, fluently, not very drastically, but day by day it will be more lighter and lighter, and then at the same time new flowers will be opened, and still this intensely bright orange carrot color, it still will be a main one on the bush. Flowers, they are mostly in clusters, but clusters not so rich because this is hybrid tea they have mentioned. Maybe 1 to 3 flowers, maybe 3 to 5 flowers per cluster, but still, even if the clusters are not so rich, they are still very noticeable and very visible, of course, because of this prominent and bright color. And here, among roses, or except roses, we are still in Ukraine. We have war in Ukraine. Russia still, day by day, they attack us by different types of missiles, of drones, shaheds, etc., etc. And people are killed, people are injured, buildings are destroyed, different schools, kindergartens, medical centers are destroyed or ruined, completely destroyed, partially destroyed, different types of ruins they bring here in our country. And recently they have attacked Dnipro city, one of the biggest cities in Ukraine, on the Dnipro River, and as of now they have attacked civilian buildings, multi-story buildings, and as of now 20 people killed. There are kids among them, and of course a lot of people wounded. And they attack daily big cities, small cities, different cities, and they proceed with this terror. They do not care about aim, they just care about terror and terrorizing all the people here in Ukraine. Back to the rose, this alabaster one. This was my opening. I have not seen it before. This one was my first, not first visit to this garden, of course, but my first maybe familiarization with this variety, because I have not seen it in any maybe catalogs or gardens. This was the one when I have faced this variety, and from the first sight, she impressed me, and I have visited more and more, and I am observing this variety, how she behaves, and more and more I want to plant this variety in my garden. As you can see, even from the video, from the screen, I think I was able to transfer how rich the bush is, how rich the variety is, how nice, how nitty, how impressive, gorgeous, etc. this variety is. This is prominent floribunda, and it has pretty big flowers, as I can, yeah, as I saw. And as far, but sorry, and flowers, even if they are so big, the clusters are still so rich. And life of flower, of each separate flower and of cluster, of course, itself, it is very long lasting. Flowers will be blooming very long, 2 weeks easily, and in addition, they stay in very attractive, I would say, site, position, way, etc. They will be during all this period of blooming. They will be very floristic, very nice looking, very pretty, and they will not be, or at least maybe with some small spots of the aldering, like maybe some rosy, some pinky signs, but very light pinky signs. But in general, this variety is impressive and amazing. Claude Basset, I have not spent a lot of time by watching it, because I also have this bush, and it's amazing. This variety is also very nice one, very nice doing, a very fragrant one. This is one of its main characteristics, the fragrance. But let's move next. And now there will be black Bakkara. This is classic hybrid tea variety with very high centered flower, with very slow opening flowering, and also flowers of such type with in hybrid tea bushes varieties. They are very, very long lasting on the bush, and you will definitely have enough time to also see this beauty, and receive maybe or feel the joy by watching, by looking at such beautiful flowers. Also with very light fragrance. Usual, I would say, rose fragrance, not so noticeable. Main characteristic of this variety maybe is its color. And next one, this is Candlelight. This is hybrid tea, but its flowers, or her flowers, they are different from other hybrid tea. They are a little bit different. They are very large, I would say, and their form is a little bit different from such varieties as Frederick Mistral, for example, from Big Purple, for example, from Green Fashion, for example. Because these latter trees, they are for me the ethalon or bible of the hybrid tea rose flower form. But this one, Candlelight, is also very a nice one, very prominent, and a very, I would say, gorgeous bush itself. This bush will be it could easily be a central point of your rose garden. You could plant it on the first edge, or on the first side, on the first row, if you have multi-rows planting of the rose bushes, and this one, yeah, it could be definitely one of the central part of your not only rose garden, but your flower garden. It also has very nice fragrance, very I would say noticeable one, and very attractive one. More beauties. Let's move next and see different maybe neighbors, annuals, perennials, which could be planted close to the roses. But another variety, Maria Theresia, it's on stamp, and this is her first year. And that's why bush is pretty small. But in general, this is floribunda, very generous. And if it is usual bush, rose bush, then it will be very generous, I think, even during the first year. And what to say about second and all the next years. It will be definitely impressive and very interesting one. And for me, it is, I would say to some extent, it is similar to Larissa rose and Larissa floribunda from Cordes. It is one of the prominent varieties, I think, from Cordes roses or Cordes rosen. So Maria Theresia main color is pink, but it starts from white pink, and then pink become more and more throughout all the flower area. Yeah, more beauties, so not switch off. You will see some amazing beauties like Marchen Konigin. And this is classic rose. I think it's very popular here, and especially it's very popular in some public parks, in botanical gardens, because I say and I think and I yes see from my different visits that this is just classic and must have rose for people who like to plant classic roses, classic hybrid tea roses, and bush will be also classic hybrid tea with very strong branches, and flowers will be pretty big and yeah, not so generous at the same time. But Leah Mesh, another beauty on your screen, how big this bush is. I also have this variety planted in my garden, and I must admit that once I have bought 5 bushes of this variety, because some people they have minimum order, and you have to, for example, buy 5 bushes of roses. And I have bought 5 of this variety, and I have presented 4 of them to different people, and one was planted, of course, in my garden. And when I have seen this one planted at the same time from the same household, and how it behaves and how it shows, I was impressed, because I have not seen even a close look of a tiny or a little close look of this variety in my garden. How it looks here in this garden, in the garden of my lovely neighbor. It looks amazing, gorgeous. You see how wide it is, how generous it is, how rich clusters are, how big flowers are, what is deeply, intensely beetroot, dark pink color, dark violet color. And in addition, it has so rich fragrance, so intense fragrance, so sweet and very nice fragrance, shows that you could not even stop to look at it, stop to smell it, because it's not enough time and it's not long time that you are maybe bored of looking at this variety and smell it. It's just one word, amazing, and it's just one word, strongly, or 2 words, strongly recommended to be planted in your garden as well. Yeah, let's move next. And here we will see another variety which also planted in my garden, but it not, or she does not demonstrate so good as here in the garden of my neighbor. This is Jubilee Celebration, David Austin Roses, and it has very interesting color, and it has very interesting fragrance, some spicy notes, some spicy waves, very intense, but not so intense like in William Shakespeare 2000, for example, or Mustard Wood. No, not so deep, but still very, very good felt fragrance. And from the bush, this is maybe it has later blooming period, because it only starts to bloom in this garden as well. But still, it promises to show a lot of beauty, and this will be also impressive view to see all these flowers when they will open on this bush. And another variety, classic hybrid tea, Mohana, in yellow, deep yellow color, and even yellow with some orange waves, with some orange notes, shades. Flower is classic hybrid tea with high center, and it will be opened very, very slowly, and it will be on the bush for a long period of time, 2 weeks easily, and even longer. And its color will be changing, or her color will be changing from deeply, intensely yellowy orange to some lighter shades of these colors, but still all types of color, or each variant of this color of this bush, of this variety, it still will be very, very interesting and attractive, and you will definitely have enough time to look at this variety, and to also receive a lot of joy by looking at it and watching it in your or other gardens. And as always, I want to say thank you for all your help, for all your words, for all your comments, for all your thoughts about us, about Ukraine, and about war of Russia, terrorist state against Ukraine, independent democracy state in the Europe. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for activity under the video. Till the next video, and bye.